Hello and welcome to episode 62, I almost forgot, of the Nerds at Large Gaming podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I am Jeff Mayo.
And Jeff, I'll be honest with you, I am bringing a very coffee-fueled kind of like sleepy energy to this podcast.
Exactly what we need. It's fitting for this podcast with the news we have.
Yeah, this is a very just like sleepy, half-dead news week too. I don't know, I feel like one day I'll learn how to sleep like a normal human being, but I feel like every weekend, every time we do one of these podcasts, I just limp into it, just exhausted. But it's gonna be okay, Jeff.
We'll get through this.
We'll get through this. We have some gaming news to talk about this week, but the most exciting thing is, for the main topic, we have Jacob Hamil coming on to talk all about Yakuza and where to start with Yakuza for dumb newbies like me and Jeff, for example. And very excited to talk to him about that. You will see that later. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Octopath Traveler still. I'm not really going to say anything more about that. I have nothing new to report. I haven't played nearly as much this week as I have other weeks. But
did I really play it all this week? I've been out of town for a good bit and...
Yeah. But I did play some Rise of the Tomb Raider, which you can actually go find on our YouTube channel. I pretended to be a streamer for a night.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see the archive stream
Next on our ninja right here.
On our YouTube channel. Yeah, look at me. I'm like, watch out. And I kind of did that just in anticipation of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, just kind of refreshing myself on the last Tomb Raider to, partially refresher and partially just get hyped. I don't know how much I'm actually going to play of it, like, fully, but I'll probably do at least another session or two, so stay tuned for that. Replaying it just, some of my biggest takeaways is I'm really hoping Shadow of the Tomb Raider kind of, because I think Tomb Raider always, I love this reboot series, but the story is kind of like, it's there. It's nothing, it's not like Uncharted in that respect. Yeah. It's more about the gameplay. And replaying Rise of Tomb Raider, it's really kind of funny how much, I forgot how much they're building up the Laura's kind of like a basket case as far as she's like so like hell-bent on her mission that she's pushing away her friends, and then like in reality in the game that's never really explored that much. It's kind of just set up and then dropped, and it kind of seems like they're going for the same thing with Shadow, and I'm just really hoping they actually like stick the landing with that. They're like, no, Laura is messed up, and like look at what's happening, because I just hope
she kills all of them.
Something like, I hope there's some big moment where I come back on this podcast and I'm like, Jeff, like this Tomb Raider game got crazy.
It was all a dream,
or it's all a dream.
She's still on the boat from the first game.
Man, who knows, man? I just want them to do something like that. Like, take a stand. Take a chance.
Yeah, saying nothing is real.
Yeah, you're not real. Like, get really meta with it. She turns to the camera and starts talking to the person playing it.
Yeah, but right before she wakes up, Cloud Strife comes out.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I want that. I want Tomb Raider to get crazy. So, yeah, go watch that. I think it was pretty fun. Do you have anything you played this week? You pretty much,
Yep.
So, I think that's about us. Jeff, I think it's time to get into that news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jangle. Okay, this first thing comes from Adam Bankhurst from IGN. BioWare has confirmed that while the team is hard at work on the upcoming Anthem, there are still teams working the beloved franchises of Mass Effect and Dragon Age. In BioWare's Midsummer update, General Manager Casey Hudson stated, "We hear loud and clear the interest in BioWare doing more Dragon Age and Mass Effect. So rest assured that we have some teams hidden away working on some secret stuff that I think you'll really like. We're just not ready to talk about any of it for a little while." This should lend some hope to fans of the Mass Effect series, which last year was said to be put on hold following the launch of Mass Effect Andromeda. As for Dragon Age, we have... there have been rumors and small talk of a new entry with BioWare writer Alexis Kennedy speaking about working on a new game in the franchise, and Casey Hudson discussing how the in-development new Dragon Age title will be a live experience.
It's interesting to hear them like reference Mass Effect by name, just because I thought we were a little further away before they start. Like I thought it was just going to be, and it still kind of is, like all their energy is being put into Anthem. This is just like a little comment, and it's probably just a, hey, don't freak out.
We have a handful of people, doing the idea stage of all this.
Right. But it was also kind of the same thing. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it? I mean, Andromeda was made by like a side team, right? It wasn't like I don't think it was the same team, or at least not originally. I think they ended up putting other people on the project, but I think at least, I mean, grain of salt, I kind of forgot some of the story of it. But,
I don't know the inner workings of BioWare.
I mean, I know this because I read like a lot of articles about it because I was very interested in just kind of the fires going on with Andromeda. But so I mean, like, I think Mass Effect Andromeda started from a place like this where it's like, oh, we have a small team working on this to the side. I just hope that they know that they have to handle Mass Effect with care now, because the feeling of Mass Effect is not as high as it once was.
Yeah, that is definitely true, and kind of how it is, how Anthem is received will kind of make or break how the next Mass Effect or Dragon Age is received. Did they have two games in a row that people fear are subpar or have a bunch of problems, then people aren't going to be looking forward to the next stuff as much.
Right. I mean, I think we've said a lot of times that it's not some hot take. Everyone said it, that BioWare's reputation is kind of on the line with Anthem, after Andromeda. It's kind of, this is the redemption. Because I think it's hyperbolic to say that BioWare's reputation is just completely down right now. They made one kind of not great
subpar game.
Yeah, but it still wasn't like horrible. So, I think that they could rebound from this, and I think they could even I think because of Andromeda and the backlash, I would predict that the next Mass Effect will be really good. I think they're gonna like drill home what they need to.
If they nail Anthem, we're not gonna stop hearing about it next year.
Oh, no.
It has all the makings of an all-time classic.
Well, and that's what, like, because I just assumed it's like they're putting all their eggs in Anthem, and I thought that even at post-Anthem, we're going to be hearing about Anthem 2, not Mass Effect. But maybe BioWare is big enough to where they can juggle both of those.
The thing is, with Anthem, that might be one where an Anthem 2 we don't hear about for a long time because it sounds like kind of a game of a servicey. While it does have a story, there's going to be a big multiplayer aspect of it. Yeah. It could be like Destiny.
Yeah, but even Destiny 2 came out not that long after Destiny. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of normal length, but they're not dead 100% the same thing, so it could be something different. And then obviously Dragon Age, people are excited about that. The whole live experience is still a little weird, but
we just don't know.
We'll have to see how they do it. I don't want to be completely pessimistic about it, but obviously single player RPG saying it's a live game is a little strange, but
we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. And I'm not even, the one Dragon Age game I played, I really did not like. So
Very, one game of the year.
One game of the year, and I did not like it at all. That is Inquisition, by the way.
Yeah. The next story comes from Alec Yodov from IGN. The upcoming Spyro Reignited trilogy will require significant downloads of some sort for Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage and Spyro Year of the Dragon. The game's official website points out two of the three games on the retail disc, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage and Spyro Year of the Dragon, will require downloads. When reached for comment about what that specifically means, Activision provided IGN with the following statement. As with most games today, downloading an update after purchase is quite common. The language on packaging and on the web is to let players know the requirements for a Spyro Reignited trilogy. End quote. However, even after Activision's comment, it's unclear exactly what these downloads will require. While some have taken the meaning to be the full second and third game will need to be downloaded, it remains unclear if the language means major chunks of or the full game needed to be downloaded, or this is instead in reference to a day one patch, the size and necessity of which has yet to be determined. The patch may contain whatever changes developer Toys for Bob would need to make for Spyro 2 until right up to the trilogy's launch, or something more significant. It's weird.
It is weird. It's definitely strange to buy this collection and it really only has one in the disc. Yeah. It's weird, and it definitely kind of, I don't know if that just comes from it being rushed out, like they couldn't get the other two into the like disc version in time.
That's something people have been thinking.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because it seems like if you could, you're gonna put all of them in. I'm sure they could all fit on there. I doubt it was like, I don't know, like I doubt those would be
if it was just a day one patch thing, the putting on the box, you need to download 2 and 3, like specifically saying that. That would not make any sense.
No.
So pretty much you need internet connection to get this full game.
Right. Yeah, so it's
one way or the other.
I definitely need to, like, from my perspective or whatever, it would be like, okay, whatever, I just download the other two games. But there's obviously people that it's not that simple for.
Yeah.
And they want to get, especially in the audience that this is going for, I feel like you're going to get a lot of kind of like casual people probably playing this. So I feel like it would have been smart to have them all download immediately. I don't think this is like such a colossal big deal. It's just a little weird and a little annoying.
Yeah, it just kind of stands out.
It does. It's a little strange, but I mean, I don't. It's something that I think we're gonna forget about, not too long afterwards. But.
Yeah, people may joke like, wait, if the PS4 needs downloads, what does that mean for the Switch version, physical edition?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think it has any bearing on this.
I'm sure by that point.
But because the Switch downloads have to do with cart space,
Yeah.
and there's no way these Spyro games take up the whole PS4 disc.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 180 gig download.
Yeah.
The Spyro trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I'm sure, I really, really think this is just they didn't get it done in time.
Yeah.
I think by the time the Switch comes out, they'll have
Or they
that,
want to push it close to the Red Dead or something.
Yeah, but then also I wouldn't be like so jazzed about like, yeah, we need to get it out in September either because of everything else coming out. But that's a tired thing that me and you have talked about over and over again.
Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to think. They might be trying to get it out before Q2's done. Because end of September will be the fiscal.
Probably.
Yeah.
Usually, honestly, we talk about other games releasing. Honestly, probably the biggest pusher of when a game comes out is fiscal quarters.
Yeah, I mean, it's only the second fiscal quarter, not like the end of fiscal year, but
does it start in October?
Yeah, it should.
The next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's. Assuming Activision goes to the same one as about every other game company.
I'm sure they do. I think pretty much everyone operates in the same. I didn't even think about that. That's probably
it'd be. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it'd be right at the end.
Yeah. That's certain. That's certainly it.
Might be why many of those games are coming out in September.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, it does suck. But at this point, it's like it's hard to play mini games without an internet connection to get updates. Like every single game, there's some games just ship broken constantly, even if they're not multiplayer games. So I think this is something that you'll see a lot of people complain about, but very few people will actually be affected by. But that doesn't change the fact that those people who go and buy Spyro and don't have a good internet connection, it's like, oh great,
Yeah. Wait and see what exactly it means, though.
Yeah.
Next story comes from Nick Santangelo from IGN. One of Capcom's biggest announcements at E3 2018 was that the Resident Evil 2 remake will release in January 2019. According to his latest financial report, Capcom is apparently feeling confident about how it will perform and may follow it up with other remakes and/or re-releases. In response to an investor question about Resident Evil 2's expected sales and the potential for other remakes, Capcom said it anticipates Resident Evil 2 to be one of its major releases for this fiscal year, and for it to be in the million seller range. The publisher also opened the door for similar projects going forward. Quote, further regarding remakes and re-releases of titles in our back catalog, we expect to explore these further with a variety of properties as a part of our strategy to utilize our library of IP.
So what other Capcom franchises should be rebooted?
Or have remakes or
not reboot. Yeah.
I got a feeling remaking Mega Man games would go poorly.
Yeah. Especially, like, I wonder if, like, I'm just immediately thinking of, like, remakes that, like, modernize stuff like this. This is more than just, I mean, I guess remakes usually do modernize it, but this is, like, a pretty substantial
there's
change.
between remakes and remasters.
Right,
they're talking about doing that too, but, at least mentioned that, but they specifically said remakes as well. If it wasn't for Devil May Cry 5, you could maybe make a case for the first Devil May Cry.
Yeah, but I guess I just always, like, Resident Evil 2 makes sense because it was kind of in this archaic game style. I'm sorry, Jacob. But the, fixed camera angles and the
tank controls
and everything, like, it just screams like, oh, this is something that you could take this experience and change, drastically change controls and everything, but like try to capture the spirit of it and take it forward. Where it's something like Devil May Cry, like, yes, it's like outdated as far as like graphics and how good the controls feel, but that type of game is still not You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't be changing the style of gameplay for Devil May Cry. You'd basically just be making it look better. But I guess that it doesn't necessarily mean that all of them are going to be as drastic of a change as Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of franchises like their major franchises. You can make the case of maybe they'll just go down the line for Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Do Resident Evil 3 next or something.
Makes
I see
sense.
no point in remaking like Monster Hunter, for example, because why not just make a new one for that one?
Exactly. I mean, it's not like those are, iconic enough like story. It's like
Mega Man will be weird, and the graphics for those early ones are perfect as they are.
that just screams something that's going to make people more mad than anything.
Yeah, and yeah, that's
And
definitely
people are already happy with 11. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I have trouble thinking of the other ones. They're probably someone screaming like, "What about this franchise?" Probably is someone.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Everyone wants Dino Crisis. I know that.
I'm just sitting here trying to think of Marvel versus Capcom characters and trying to like go through them to think of
Yeah,
what could
Ace
be.
Attorney would not work as far as making a remake.
A big gritty remake.
Okami, I mean, this one was held up decently well and everything. They just
Yeah, and they just
re-released
and
it.
that's another thing. There's just so much of an art style
Yeah.
thing. Like, I feel like the only things that make sense remake is something that like needs the remake. Something that you know what I mean. Something that's like kind of anchored in this old style. Where I feel like Okami, like it still looks good now because of that.
Super Ghouls and Guest.
There you go. You heard it here. That's the.
Nah, it'll get to just see what they mean, and yeah, I'm sure the predictions for Resident Evil 2 was right. It will sell millions.
Oh, I think yeah.
And it will be their big one for this fiscal year, because Monster Hunter is not technically for at least released in this fiscal year technically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, came out last one.
But I could see, Resident Evil 2, I could see getting people who are, even outside of the Resident Evil 2 fans, just especially with how big, it gets introduced in one of the biggest stages possible on Sony's E3, and it just feels like a big deal. I mean, you're interested in it, and I don't think you ever played Resident Evil 2, right? Yeah, so.
Did not have a PS1 ever.
I did not either. Yeah, I had friends who did.
Yeah.
And I played a lot of PS1 games on my PS2. But
Yeah.
backwards compatibility, man, it was such a great thing.
Microsoft's keeping it alive, Darby.
But even that's kind of... I mean, like, the PS2, I could literally take
Yeah.
any PS1 disc and put it in there and play it. It wasn't like, these are the backwards compatible games.
Yeah.
It was everything is
I
backwards
know.
compatible, and it was a pretty good life. It was pretty nice.
You know what's pretty good, Darby?
Well, it's
New
pretty
teams in the
good.
Overwatch League. This comes from Jordan Serrano.
Heck yeah, it is. Our team now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
2 new teams have joined the Overwatch League for the 2019 season. Activision Blizzard announced today or the other day, whatever. Atlanta and Guangzhou, China.
Chinese city.
Yeah. Will be the homes of the new teams, which will become the league's 13th and 14th franchises, respectively. Yeah, we get unlucky 13.
Oh no, we're doomed.
Atlanta Esports Ventures, a partnership between Cox Enterprises and Province Incorporated, will operate the Atlanta-based team, while the Guangzhou franchise is owned by Ninking Group, owners of the Chinese Basketball Association Guangzhou Long Lions. Official team names, logos, and rosters for the new franchises, as well as news on other new Overwatch League teams, will be revealed at a later date, according to Activision Blizzard. Quote, "We know Atlanta and Guangzhou have deeply engaged fan communities, and we can't wait to unveil their teams. As the league continues to grow, we're looking forward to seeing more talented pros in action as more roster spots open up."
This is pretty exciting to me because,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not aware, me and Jeff live in the Columbia, South Carolina area, which is about 3.5 hours away from Atlanta.
2.5.
Pretty close to Atlanta, so...
Just realistically, the closest spot to us that could get
Yep.
a team.
Oh, yeah, because, like, Charlotte was not going to... That was the next closest, and that's not big enough. That you would just go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Especially with how
especially-
few teams there are
Yeah,
in this league.
yeah, especially if they do stuff out of country,
Yeah.
out of the U.S. and stuff. Yeah, they would have to, 50 teams before they probably get to Charlotte?
Probably.
More than that.
And that's what me and Jeff, if you were listening to our podcast, we finally, like, I was interested in Overwatch League, but I just never really watched it. But we had some friends who did, and finally for the finals, we started watching it with them, and I got pretty into it. And I was like, we watched the second to last, whatever, semifinals, and then the finals, and I had a really good time watching it. And me and Jeff both kind of decided, hey, they're going to be introducing a bunch of new teams. There's a good chance Atlanta would be one of them. So let's just hold off on picking a team, and let's just go for that one because we can go to home games there and everything. It's happening.
Yeah, it'll be great once even without the whole if we were cheering for Atlanta thing, the fact once they start playing games in like home stadiums or whatever they'll do it in.
Yeah. Having
one in Atlanta will be great, and I'm sure we'll go to one.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. We'll join with Alex and Olivia, and I think this is how I'm pretty sure, it's just for each week of Overwatch matches, they all play in the same place. So, you're guaranteed to see your team, basically.
Mm-hmm.
If we go there, Alex and Olivia's team, they cheer for Seoul Dynasty, they're going to be there, and so is ours and everyone, which is exciting. So, we could just go to Atlanta one week and go to a few matches, and we will definitely be doing that. And that's going to get me even more into this league
now we have
next year.
Now we have a team confirmed. This is our team now.
Yep, a team, and they're very close to us, and it's going to be exciting to be able to actually pull for a team. Mm-hmm. And me and you will be pulling for the same team, which would be kind of cool. I'm just used to the NFL where we pull for different teams, and baseball we pull for different teams. Obviously, college
football. Speaking of NFL, what's in the Hall of Fame game last night, or was it next week? I think it was last night. Or is it this weekend? One of those. Okay. Point is, football's coming back, Darby. It's back.
It's back. I walked through. My dad was watching a rerun of the bowl game last year, and I'm like, "You ready, Dad? I think you might be ready."
Yeah. I was thinking about we could have had NFL related news in here, but nah. You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. Listeners might also.
Okay, moving on. This is kind of a follow-up to a previous story. And we're probably the only podcast who go over this other than Easy Eyes. Did you listen to this week's yet?
Not yet, but I did see they posted on Facebook, and they're like, if you're looking for hot takes on this game, we don't have any.
Yeah, Kyle doesn't care for it. And of course, no one else does. Okay, Digimon Survive. We talked about it being announced a couple weeks ago.
I'll be honest, I have not seen it. I just it's Metal Gear Survive, right? It's Metal Gear Survive with Digimon, right? Yeah. It's a zombie shooter.
Well, it has been confirmed for the West. Originally, it was just announced in a Japanese magazine, so we didn't know about it coming to the West. And games like these, you never know. It is going to be playable on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, so it's coming to everything in America.
Okay, all right, fine. I gotta look up Digimon Survive. Continue, but
it's coming out in 2019. Knew that. Confirms the game is going to be part visual novel and part strategy RPG, like Fire Emblem.
Okay.
So the way I guess to describe what we've seen, it's kind of like Fire Emblem as far as the gameplay stuff goes.
Okay, yeah. This is so this is the one you were talking about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the visual novel stuff. So it's like more interactivity between your characters in Fire Emblem because there isn't too much.
I actually don't hate this art style. Anyway.
Yeah, and based on the trailer and everything, it kind of seems the promise will be darker themes in it compared to other Digimon stuff. Probably the darkest Digimon franchise has gotten is Digimon Tamers.
Oh yeah, do people normally look like this in Digimon? This does look like... Is this it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do people normally look like full-on anime characters in Digimon? I don't remember.
Yeah. It can kind of just depend.
Cause this looks straight out of a visual novel, but then I go to the grid thing and this looks like something different. So.
I'll show you the trailer later just so you have more of it.
Okay.
It looks cool. I'm fine with the visual novel stuff, and it said the choices will influence how your Digimon evolve, for example, during battle, and choices throughout the story. I think they even mentioned who lives and who dies type thing. It's like, yes, this is going. Might go some places.
Some brutal deaths going on in Digimon.
Yeah. Again, darkest themes, it seems like, for Digimon since the Digimon Tamers anime.
What is the ESRB rating for this game?
I don't know. We won't know.
Now I gotta look up the ESRB rating for this game.
That hasn't been announced yet. It's not coming out to next year.
Alright, fine.
It's still getting announced pretty close. Anyway, this has, for what I've seen, kind of launched it up to my desire.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as games are
does
coming out
next year. Does it break the 11 games that I presented to you last week?
Probably, yes. For sure. Okay. It definitely breaks the bottom couple.
Okay. Well, that's pretty high then.
I'm pretty excited for this. This could go completely wrong, but I think it's promising based on what we've seen so far.
Interesting.
It's going to be on Switch? Hell yeah. Okay. Next thing. Yeah, we're getting through this quickly. We're now at PlayStation Plus. Yeah, a week late. Apparently, they always do it the last Wednesday of the month or something, but that ended up, I don't know. technically the way the July ended, it would have been technically the farthest away it could have been. Like it would have been a whole week early, and they didn't want to do that apparently. Announced it a whole week early.
Gotcha.
So it technically came out August 1st. They announced it.
Okay.
Here is PlayStation Plus games for August 2018. Mafia 3 for PS4.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Like, I'm actually kind of excited about that because Mafia 3 was a game I was, like, actually super interested going in, and then, obviously, it was a big letdown to a lot of people, but, like, from everything...
Yeah, kind of mixed things. Like, it did some things really right, and then some things not so right.
Right. It was the type of game where, like, people said there's a lot of merits and a lot of good things in this game, but there's also enough bad to where you shouldn't spend $60 on it. And that's like, I was never going to, like, there was too much bad about it that I heard and saw, and it seemed kind of incomplete, so I was never going to pay money for it. But PlayStation Plus game, absolutely. Because the setting, like, it takes place in, like,
New Orleans?
New Orleans, yeah. It takes in, like, you can go, like, in the outer New Orleans area, and it sounds like that's such an interesting setting for a video game that I don't see very often. So I'm actually kind of excited to experience it from a very ground, like, my expectations are set, you know. I don't have like over, you know, like, or the buyer's remorse or anything like that. I can just go in and experience it. So I'm pretty excited actually.
Pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah.
Next game, Dead by Daylight. I think I heard good things. If I'm thinking the right game, it sounds like it'd be a fun multiplayer game. But I'm thinking of the. Let me look at that real quick.
Okay, I can continue.
Okay, go for it.
Bound by Flame for the PS3. Serious Sam 3 BFE. For the PS3. My eye is going crazy, Jeff. Draw Slasher for the PlayStation Vita. Space Hulk. I'd picture just Hulk wearing an astronaut suit, just like going on some space adventures, like without the Avengers. He's just on his own. Here They Lie for the PSVR.
Apparently that's a bad horror game, so we're gonna stream.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
we're gonna stream that.
Absolutely for free. Heck yeah. I'm actually excited about.
Oh
this.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
That's free till November.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And Here They Lie is free till October, so that's two months for Here They Lie and 3 months for Knowledge is Power.
So that's free. Like you can just get it anytime there, and you have it for
yes.
forever.
So it's not going to be just August.
Right.
Knowledge is Power is generally it's a quiz game or whatever, but it uses the PlayLink thing, so the thing on our phone, which is the perfect kind of thing for us to get with our friends.
Yes, absolutely. We like playing these type of games. It's kind of like the Jackbox-esque stuff like that, but I mean not as like.
Yeah, and I've heard good things about this one.
Yeah, and I've seen some people streaming it. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm actually really
so
excited.
We're 100% getting
playing
this one.
I wish that it was out now so that we could do it this weekend, but
yeah, but we could do it at the but the internet won't be great.
Yeah.
We could do it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, yeah, Dead by Daylight's the game I thought it was. Dead by Daylight. It's an online multiplayer survival game where someone plays a killer and the rest of the people are trying to survive and escape. It's that game.
Yeah. I've heard about this. Yeah. I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard people talk about it.
Yeah. It looks like fun, especially if we're getting this. I think this will be a fun one for us to play with our friends. Like, while we play, games with Alex and Olivia, we all download it and just play it.
Yeah. Sure.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
So, good month.
Yeah, that's a very good month. I like that.
I don't have it on top of my head to see if it beats.
Yeah, I forgot. I remember Xbox was really good too.
Xbox had For Honor.
It did.
That's a strong one.
That's a strong
but
one. I think it had another really strong one, but I forgot what it was. I don't know, man.
Everyone had a good month.
Everyone wins.
Twitch also had a really good month.
Yep. All right, it's a new one. Everyone wins this month.
Yep.
Congratulations, everyone.
Don't get used to this. We want blood.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely want. 100%. I mean, this is what everyone beefs up. You've noticed that all of these games have been getting better and better every month. It's because of us.
Yeah.
They're trying to win that Nerds at Large award for best free game month. Yeah. Everyone's competing for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now Derby, we got an extra long version of Sales Time.
Extra long sales time. Sales block. The horde got kind of messed up there, but
yeah. Okay. This first one comes from Shivana Arif from IGN. Monster Hunter World sales have surpassed 8 million units on PS4 and Xbox One.
Hoo-wee!
Capcom has announced that Monster Hunter World's physical shipments and digital sales have hit 8.3 million units as of the last fiscal quarter, which saw the company's net sales increase by 46.5% year over year.
Yet they say it's a disappointment.
No, they're investors, dude. That's different. Investors are stupid a lot.
Yeah,
Very reactive.
Yeah, they are very reactive.
Quote from Capcom: "In this business, the phenomenal success of Monster Hunter World for PS4 and Xbox One from the previous fiscal year continued, with the title gaining further popularity through the expansion of its user base. In scoring a worldwide smash hit, the series solidified its position as an international brand and strengthened our base of IP." Hell yeah, it did.
Yeah, don't say.
Yeah, so a while ago, it was Capcom's best-selling game of all time. It sold more since then.
Yeah,
and
it's Capcom.
PC version is going to come out in about a week or something, and that's going to also sell.
Oh yeah, coming to a whole new platform. A lot of people are probably going to double dip.
Oh yeah, and people getting it for the first time. And this is a game that it's obviously slowed down some, but I think it's going to have legs. It's going to continually selling for a little while.
I still, obviously not to the level that some other like games as a service games like this. I don't hear about it as much as some, but I still hear people talk about it. There's still a lot of people who play it like a lot. Like it's not the fever pitch it was back then because it was a surprise and it came out at a perfect time. We've had God of War and Detroit and Octopath, all these other games.
Fortnite just sucking out all the multiplayer discussion.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that it's probably bigger than some people give it credit for, just because it's getting drowned out. And there's still the Final Fantasy stuff looks awesome.
We're probably not going to be able to play it.
I know. At least there's some like little side stuff in there. I don't know if they're quests, but there's at least like Cactar running around and stuff. I think, and I think you can get some armor, can't you, or something? But I don't know
how strong you need to be to kill and stuff for it.
Have they said when this is supposed to end? Because I didn't see.
I did not look. I just saw that it's starting.
I'm sure it's going to end. Like, I'm sure it's not a permanent thing because they're calling it an event. So, probably no way that we're going to get to the behemoth.
Yeah. And speaking of Monster Hunter selling well, the Switch game comes out pretty soon. Mm-hmm. They're also not going to do Monster Hunter World numbers. No. But it should do well.
Now, interesting. Alright, so in the past, Monster Hunter has been, if not exclusively, almost exclusively on Nintendo platforms, right?
For the last while, because I remember I've told you this before. I played a Monster Hunter game back in middle school. That was on the PSP.
Okay.
So it was like on Sony things at least a little bit. Then it moved exclusively to Nintendo for a little bit, and this is its return to non-Nintendo things.
Right.
And definitely like return to big beefy consoles.
Yeah, because I mostly knew it from like handheld stuff and DS or whatever, and like and mostly you identified it with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Do you think, did Monster Hunter World do so good? Do you think Nintendo platforms and stuff kind of get left by the wayside for Monster Hunter because they're going to be exploring that power?
They talked about this.
Okay.
They pretty much kind of said, if I remember right, they're probably going to be 2 sets of Monster Hunter games.
Okay.
The ones, the beefy power on the regular consoles, and then Nintendo Switch, whatever exclusive ones, which makes sense because they will. I'm just going to assume the Switch one Generations is going to sell. I see no reason why it's not.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, not world numbers.
I guess they always have in the past. Just
not world numbers, obviously, but enough to justify. That's
probably smart to keep the people who have been playing Monster Hunter. I know some Monster Hunter purists were not completely did not love World as much as other people because kind of deviated from the formula a little bit and made it a little more casual.
Yeah.
Still pretty obtuse to me at times, but a lot more casual. So, I think that would be smart to, build up both of those, and I would have to imagine the, Switch versions or Nintendo versions are easier to make. I'm sure, it'll be a lot more, all hands on deck for the next Monster Hunter World title, and then you can also be getting money from this other side.
I don't know if it's completely true. I think I remember that's what I remember reading a director saying or whatever, and it makes sense, the Switch can be the quote-unquote handheld title. Yeah. Which, for a lot of people, is how they much prefer playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Which that makes sense. But I think the one thing that is 100% confirmed is you will see another Monster Hunter World type title that's coming out.
No, I remember even us to a point, I don't think we were as much as everyone else were confused that Monster Hunter was one of the few new games announced at that Sony thing. And now anyone who thought that was kind of looks...
Yeah, I remember when it came out, I was I didn't think it looked good. I thought that was a pretty bad trailer for that E3 thing, and it was strange. It did seem very out there for compared to all those other games. But now, 8 million copies in how many months? Not a whole lot of months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and about to come out on another platform.
Yeah.
Doing well. It's doing well.
Capcom's doing fine.
And I'm enjoying it now.
Yeah. You know what else is doing fine? Octopath Traveler.
Hell yeah!
Octopath Traveler has shipped over 1 million units worldwide, including digital sales and downloads.
So happy for that game.
Yeah, that came from Nintendo's of America or Europe or someone's Twitter.
Yeah, they've been releasing a lot of different stuff, but I mean, like this game. I'm glad that I think I said a few weeks ago, I could see a reality where Octopath Traveler like hits, and it's like this. Like, it's this, like, smaller retro thing that actually hit. And it's like, look, these games can sell. And I could have seen a reality where it's, like, a niche thing. I'm so glad that it's actually selling.
This is after only, like, 2-3 weeks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It didn't even...
It came out, like, 3 weeks ago.
I didn't even think about that. How, it hasn't even... It's been,
it's
like,
already
maybe a month, not even.
Yeah, it's sold about 1 million. And, and that's with all the stocking problems in Japan. I still see that going on at like a bunch of like, hey, they restocked Octopath and it's gone.
They're still apologizing over and over.
Yeah, so Octopath I think is going to continue to sell.
Yes, which the biggest thing is like just playing this game. I'm like, I want this developer to be rewarded for this, and just I want the message to be sent very clear. Make more games.
I'm not 100% positive. It's obviously outpacing Bravely Default.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I just don't know how much Bravely Default sold overall. I saw the 1 million number go around, but I don't know how much above 1 million it is.
Yeah.
So it could quickly outsell Bravely Default in general, which was considered a pretty big success.
But yeah. I mean, and honestly, I didn't like Bravely Default that much, but it definitely, like, I saw there was a lot of good things they were doing, and this is, I mean, Octopath Traveler would not exist without Bravely Default. Yeah. It's very cool to see how they've built up this, and they were able to show that you can have a, like, Nintendo, one of the biggest publishers, like publishing your game, advertising your game, and it being this very like nostalgic, retro inspired game, and it actually sell like AAA numbers, not like it sold well for a small indie title. It's like no, this is selling over 1 million units in 3 weeks. Yeah, it's doing like this is an investment you can make.
It's doing fine. We're gonna get more Nintendo games with Square Enix. Yeah.
It's probably going to outsell like ARMS and all those other like Nintendo games if it hasn't already.
We'll get to that, Debbie. You might be surprised. Okay, next thing we're gonna, the end of June was the end of quarter, so we get a bunch of sales news.
Yes. From
Sony and Nintendo. More so Nintendo. We'll get all that. Yeah. For PS4 sale news, the PS4 has sold 3.2 million during the first quarter of this fiscal year. So April through June, bringing total PS4 sales to 82.2 million. So it is now about to go past PS3 and Xbox 360. It is less than 20 million away from surpassing the Wii.
Oh, wow.
And the original PS1, I believe. So, Easy I was talking about this on the podcast today. I was thinking about that. So, I think they all came to the conclusion this thing's going to end up being the second best-selling home console of all time behind the PS2. Because I mean, this is not slowing down. This is not.
Yeah, stopping. I mean, lifetime, it's going to get past that 20 million. It might take a while. Like I think it's going to slowly. Like we're going to be pretty, if not deep, a few years probably into the PS5 before it hits that. But it's going to hit.
But here's the thing: sales are going strong. Fortnite's helping, and PS4 hasn't had a significant price drop.
Oh, yeah.
So,
things like that are definitely going to be... Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, compared to the PS3, if this was the PS3, we would only be like halfway or a little over halfway into the generation. It's like way different. Yeah. This thing still has a lot of time left, and 82 million units.
It passed the 3DS to get to this. I mean, that passed it technically last quarter, but...
Okay.
But just to give you an idea how well it's selling comparatively to other consoles.
Especially for a, like... I mean, how much is the PS4 right now?
It's still $299.
Is it $400? Yeah, for a $400 console to sell that much. I mean, yeah, compare that to the 3DS, it's like way cheaper. It's crazy. Yeah. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. So, Sony doing really well. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, it was a thing, like, PS4 selling really well compared to the Xbox. Now it's like... PS4 just selling good compared to any console.
Compared to anything, just it's a historic
console. Not PS2, maybe not PS2 and Nintendo DS necessarily, but those things are a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's kind of a different story. Yeah. I just really wish we knew solid Xbox numbers.
Yeah, like Easy Allies brought up, they brought up to the kind of do it the Wikipedia thing with the best-selling consoles and all their numbers. Xbox thing, it said 25 to 30 million, and that's just an estimation. But I'm like, we've had that number for years.
For so long. Yeah, it feels like it has to be higher than
it has to be a good bit higher, because that means the Switch is very close to surpassing it. I'm like, we keep on hearing Xbox is selling well, so there's no way it's still at 25 to 30 million.
Yeah, how high would it have to get for them to say? I don't think they're ever going to say.
Not when their PS4 is quote-unquote killing it. I mean, it's still doing well from all we know, but...
Yeah. No, I mean, the Xbox One is doing better than what most console leaders would do in the past. It's just or at least we assume, because there's been several months where it's been the top selling console of the month, and almost every month it's right up there, and console sales in general are way up. Yeah, but they're probably never going to say, and just from someone who loves comparing all this stuff, I really want to know, but
yeah.
Sad. Yep, Come on, Phil. Give us
all that Nintendo goodness.
Let's do it.
Let's go for Jabano Ari from IGN. Nintendo Switch console sales have reached almost 20 million units sold. Nintendo's first quarter results are in for quarter one fiscal year 2018, and the company has revealed that the Switch sales have reached 19.67 million units, while software sales for the platform have reached 83.93 million units. Also, I should have said, make this clear for the PS4 thing, and this also applies to this. This is only through the end of June. So all sales numbers had a whole nother month to it.
Right.
Yeah. And also what they did, Nintendo put its top selling
software.
Yeah, from Nintendo first party titles.
Yeah.
It's million sellers, breakers.
Right.
So I guess you've looked at the list when you're looking at it.
Yeah. Do you want to go through them?
Yeah, I was going to go through them. I was hoping they may have a little fun with you guessing.
No, I have seen.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, number one, Super Mario Odyssey with 11.17 million units. Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop.
Number two, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 10.35 million units. So I think we talked about last time, it surpassed the original Mario Kart 8, which sold a lot comparatively.
I mean, it's just a few million away from selling as many Wii U's as there were, right?
Oh, yeah. Super Mario Odyssey's 2 million away from surpassing.
Yeah.
Or a little more than
There's
that.
about to be more Switch copies of Mario Kart 8 than there are Wii U's in existence,
Yeah. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 9.32 million units.
Which it feels like that discrepancy between Zelda and Odyssey, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like that discrepancy used to be higher. It seems like, has Zelda sold a lot
There's
more?
actually been a talking point recently that compared to Odyssey, Breath of the Wild sales have not slowed down as much.
Right, that's
Zelda's having the longer legs.
Right, yeah. I feel like I'd like to actually look at it, but I just think that as we've seen the numbers go up, I thought that it used to be a lot bigger gap.
Yeah.
So people are still buying Zelda a lot.
Zelda seems to be the game that when people buy a Switch, that is the game they get.
And it makes sense because you heard so many people, when they, Zelda came out with the Switch, there was so many people out there who didn't have a Switch, but all they heard about was Zelda. Breath of the Wild is amazing. It's one of the best games of all time. So whenever a year and a half down the line you finally get a Switch, that's going to be...
Now, I will say this, I'm not really sure. I don't think this includes the Wii U Breath of the Wild sales. No 100% sure on that.
So, it's probably at least...
Overall, it's probably over Odyssey.
Odyssey,
if you count them both. But number two, Splatoon 2 with 6.76 million units.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Splatoon.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Number 5, 1-2 Switch, 2.45 million units. That thing was very front heavy.
Oh, yes.
I can't imagine many people buy that today.
But we were all still from a consumer perspective, it was still dumb, but we were all like, Nintendo, why is this not just a pack-in title? I guess this is why. They could sell 2.45 million and get a lot of money off of it.
Yeah.
Because people are that starving in a console launch.
I just need Zelda.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh,
I'm glad you didn't.
Actually, all I needed was Zelda and snipper clips, really.
I'm really glad
Yeah.
you didn't just buy into the I need something to play for my Switch and buy that game, because that is a waste of money.
Hell no. If it ended up being a good party game that could last a while, sure. But that would have been fun for a night, potentially, and then we'd be done with it.
Yes, I'm just glad that you weren't drunk
Yeah.
off the Switch and thinking, oh, we're gonna be playing this in 6 months.
No, I would never say that. This because was the game to go to. ARMS, 2.01 million units. It's kind of surprising a lot of people. Did I go over 2 million?
Yeah,
People kept calling ARMS a flop.
no, it took a while to get there, but still, I mean, if you would have told me ARMS sold over 2 million at all, I probably would have thought that was not going to happen. So, yeah.
So we're getting an ARMS too.
Yeah, I just don't hear anything about ARMS. I have not heard anyone mention the word ARMS. The game ARMS.
Yeah.
And since around when it came out. So I kind of forget about it. But I guess we probably are getting ARMS too.
Yeah. Getting an ARMS character in Smash Bros. Just matter of...
Do you think so?
I don't know about...
I don't think so.
I guess...
Sometimes I just don't feel it. I don't think we are.
I don't think in the default game, just because of how new ARMS is.
Okay.
But potentially DLC and future things.
Potentially DLC.
Yeah, I think it's too new for that, which is partly why I don't think we'll get Xenoblade 2 characters necessarily right away.
Yeah. I could see a DLC, especially if next year they're announcing ARMS 2 or something. Yeah.
Okay, right under ARMS is Kirby Star Allies with 1.89 million units. Reminder, this came out in March.
Yeah, in way less time than ARMS.
Yeah. Kirby selling good, and I imagine this is very good for a Kirby game.
I would have to imagine.
It consistently sells millions, but...
Kirby games always sell more than you think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with 1.42 million units, making it, I think I saw, the best-selling Monolith Soft game ever.
Nice.
So, hopefully they get a bigger budget next
Honestly,
time.
the sales of that game has always been one of the biggest surprises to me. Yeah, it's not like there was people excited about it, but I figured, okay, this is just the Xenoblade fans, and this is something Nintendo's kind of doing, like throwing a bone to the Xenoblade fans, but it's not. It's kind of a niche thing. Apparently, it's like 1.5 million.
And honestly, based on what the little details we got for their next game / the concept art, that has a better chance to just have a wider appeal because it looks less anime.
We'll see. They have a lot of notches to dial back before it's.
Hey, based on the concept,
it's not too anime for me. I'll keep an open mind. I'm just saying, even if they notch it back a few notches, it's still going to be too anime for me and a lot of people. But.
Well, based on the concept art and stuff we're seeing, it's a lot of notches. That's what they might be going for.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Next thing, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, 1.4 million units, almost above the Wii U release. That was at 1.7 million, so it's gonna surpass that.
Wow.
I believe.
So it sold like as much as Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has in like a month or something.
Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah.
It is Donkey Kong, though.
It is Donkey Kong.
Yes, so this just goes to show. Thing even ports will sell on the Switch. Either you've charged $10 more.
I imagine a lot of that 1.4 million had never played the game before.
I imagine.
Yeah. This next one makes me real happy though.
Mario Tennis Aces, 1.38 million units, and here's the kicker.
Let's go.
No, here's the kicker, Dory. This is after like a week.
Oh yeah, because this ended in June.
This ended in June.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
That game sold 1.3 million in a week.
This is the game probably have some legs.
The Mario power, man. Just put Mario on something. I mean, like, but it's legit. I love that game. That game's so much fun. I just didn't expect it. I never would have expected that much. Like, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You go, Aces.
Yep, so that's all that, Darby. Nintendo's stuff selling good. Sony's selling really well. I would like to say the same about Microsoft, but they don't give us the numbers.
They won't tell us.
Yeah.
They won't tell us if they're doing good or not.
Okay, Darby, it's time for the last news thing, NPDs for June. We finally got them. I don't know why it took us this long. They've got like 2 weeks later. I don't know. Okay, top 10. Number 1, Mario Tennis Aces.
Let's go.
Yeah, and
Chomp chomp womp womp.
Yep. Chomp chomp womp womp. And this set the record for Nintendo's best-selling tennis game as far as first month sales goes.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And number 2, God of War 2018. God of War has those legs.
Yes.
It's what this is telling
Oh,
us.
of course.
Number 3.
My prediction. I think God of War.
This be a hot take, Darby. I want hot takes.
I think God of War will be. I don't know how hot I want to make the take. It's going to be in the top 10 every single month of this year.
Oh, yeah.
Will it be in the top 5 every single month of this year? Okay. I'll take the hot take. I'll say it's going to be in the top 5 every single month of this year.
Even in September?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm doing it. Lock it in, Jeff.
Lock it in!
Lock it in. Top 5 every single month.
Okay, we'll see. Remember, even State of Decay got number 1.
I know. Jeff, it's a hot take for a reason.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't even fully have to believe it. That's how hot it is.
Number 3, rising up from the ashes of number 6, Grand Theft Auto 5.
You know, this poor little game that no one ever sees. You know, yeah.
Number 4, The Crew 2. Number 5, Far Cry 5. Number 6, Mario Kart 8, no digital. Mario Kart 8 still on. Number 7, Lego Incredibles.
Woo!
Number 8, FIFA 18, no PC digital sales, I believe. Was also kind of weird. FIFA 18 would be last year's game.
Yep.
I think they had some kind of sale or something. Wasn't that a thing at E3 they announced?
That sounds probably right, but we were also probably very zoned out during FIFA. We were probably just talking over it.
I think we're trying to figure out Unravel 2 at the time. Number 9, coming back up, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Yeah, probably a lot of Switch sales too.
Yeah, this is a weird thing because, that probably has a good bit to do with it, but since it's not just Switch, it doesn't have the whole, not counting digital.
Yeah.
But it probably does not include Switch digital.
I imagine not, but it does include other people's digital. Yeah.
Number 10, Detroit Become Human, not getting out of that top 10.
Good for you, Detroit.
So, yeah, here's the interesting thing. The rest of the top 20 in the top of my head. I'm not going to go through them all, just some interesting things. State of Decay 2 was number 1, above Detroit in May. It dropped down to like 20.
Okay.
About there. So Detroit has the longer legs.
Yeah, State of Decay was a strong start. I do think like that month was just a lot lighter on games, but still good.
So was this month.
Yeah.
But Mario Tennis Aces still did good, based on the number we have. And Vampire, which came out in June, was like number 18. Vampire.
Yeah. Not seeing a whole lot of buzz about that.
I hear best. It's okay.
I mean, I know some people really like it, but I don't think it's going to sell that well.
Nope. That's why they have Life is Strange.
Yeah, I say Donut has Life is Strange. They're good.
Yeah.
That can supplement Vampire.
And some other things. NES Classic was the best-selling console as far as units sold.
I did see that. That's funny. It's not surprising, though.
And Nintendo was the month's top publisher. That's not really that surprising, considering, they have a bunch of games in the top 20, had the number 1 game. PS4 is still the best-selling console this year.
Even better than the Switch.
And after 3 months on sale, God of War, according to NPD data, is actually the fastest-selling PlayStation exclusive since tracking began in 1995.
Beating out Final Fantasy VII, beating out everything.
Does that count that?
You said Sony exclusive, right? PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I guess it would count
Final
that,
Fantasy VII
depending on the wording.
Has always been a PlayStation exclusive. Until it went on PC.
Yeah.
I guess.
See, my thought of this was Sony. Like Sony first party.
The wording here says fastest selling PlayStation exclusive.
Still impressed no matter how we slice it.
Yes, yeah. That is.
Actually, that makes perfect sense because honestly, when we looked at Final Fantasies, that thing only capped at like 13 million.
7.
Yeah, 7 sales. Yeah, we talked.
Yeah,
so that makes sense that God of War even surpassed that.
Yes, yeah.
And here's the list of the best-selling games so far this year in order. 1, Far Cry 5, not a surprise. Number 2, God of War 2018.
One console?
Yep. Number 3, Monster Hunter World, still going strong.
Yes.
Number 4, Call of Duty World War 2. Number 5, Dragon Ball FighterZ, let's go.
Yeah.
Number 6, Grand Theft Auto 5. Always 6, forever and always. Number 7, Mario Kart 8, no digital.
The world will be plunged into chaos when Grand Theft Auto 5's not 6.
Yeah, some people predict that Red Dead will get it off there. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it will. No. It might make it go a spot lower, but no, it's not happening. Number 8, NBA 2K18. Number 9, MLB 18, the show. And number 10, I don't know if it was on it last month. I can't remember. I may slip back in. Super Mario Odyssey.
I don't remember.
With no digital sales.
Yeah.
Good time for video games, Darby.
Very good time for video games, Jeff. Very, very good time. And good time, we chose good time to start this podcast, 2017 into 2018.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of good games, and we didn't have to do this in like 2014, the dark year.
Dear Lord. Imagine we had to do this like, yeah, I'm playing Tokyo Mirage Session Derby. That's all I have.
Still playing. That's all. Well, okay. Super anime.
Yep.
All right. Is it game time, Jeff?
It is game time, Derby.
Game time.
Sorry, this is the game from a couple weeks ago. I enjoyed it so much, I just did it again.
We're just recycling games all left and right now, but it's that time, Jeff. We've done so many games.
I've done like 20 games.
I get it. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. So I'm doing that DeviantArt Smash Bros thing again.
Oh, jeez.
I have 60 characters to use. I can do this a whole another time.
No, this should be a repeated thing because you have a lot of characters to use.
And
but explain what it is. In case
okay, just so people know, we did this a couple weeks ago, and it will be done again because it's so fun and stupid. I had a thought that I would use PlayStation All Stars as well.
That would be good.
Yeah. I think.
Should we wait and do this with Jake? Or could this be gone into two people, or is it better with one?
It could be done with two people where you guys kind of buzz in.
Do it with me now, and we could potentially record it with Jacob and cut that out and put it into a future episode because it's evergreen. You know what I'm saying? So let's just do it.
So wait, so do you want me to make another one for tomorrow?
No, we could just do this again.
But then you would know the answers.
You just do other characters.
Okay. So I have to make a whole new thing.
I don't know what you want to do. Let's just go. Game time. Let's go.
Okay. Number one. Oh yeah, I didn't explain it. Okay. So everyone should know what DeviantArt is, the place on the internet where people put artwork that can be very suggestive. So what I did, I went to Super Smash Bros. Online and had DeviantArt, both of them pulled up. For the new Super Smash Bros. Game, they gave each character numbers. So what I did, I used a random number generator, put 1 through 65, did a random number, and just kept on going down and made each one's random, like who's going against who, and then looked them all up on DeviantArt to see how many pictures came up when I put those names in.
They're just monstrosities that people have.
Yep.
The sins that people have made on DeviantArt.
There's a very interesting thing on there. And yeah, so this is completely random, so some of these will be obvious as hell.
And I'm just guessing which has the largest overall results.
Yes. God,
It's very unpredictable with this stuff. It is not always the most popular character.
Yep, and Dari, just so you know, I'm not using any of the characters from the last one. These are all new set of 20.
I forgot a lot of the ones that we used, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Again, I could do this a whole other time.
So you saw some dark things looking this up?
I did.
Okay. Can't unsee them, folks.
I was originally gonna
look into the camera. These are dead eyes. You're looking at.
No, I did look up PlayStation All-Star ones at first. I saw some very good Nariko cosplay, so I got that going on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, first one, King DDD versus Samus.
Big boy. All right. So do people go for the memes? Do people go for the jokes of King DDD, or do they go for Samus being... It's Samus.
Yes.
Okay. Samus is a pretty blonde girl. It's gonna be Samus. What are the numbers?
King DDD 14,605. Samus
way more.
95,167.
There it is.
Okay, number 2. Captain Falcon versus Sonic.
It's gotta be Sonic.
Yeah.
It's gotta
Again,
be
it's completely random.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna change him around just to make him...
Sonic has to have like 200,000.
Yeah.
What is Sonic's? Is it 200?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Captain Falcon 15,632. How much did you say for?
I'm gonna bump it up. At least 600,000.
Ooh, that's way too low. 1,990,143.
There we go.
People love that Sonic.
There we go. Oh, and there's some dark stuff in there, probably.
Yep, Dart is definitely the easiest out of all these. Or comparatively, probably across the board. Number 3, Link versus Mr. Game & Watch.
Okay. Okay. I'm very interested to see those Mr. Game & Watch DeviantArts and the fact that I'm actually not. It's Link.
Yeah. Link, 5,229,543. Game & Watch, 10,669.
Come on. Everybody get out there, start drawing some Game & Watch horrible images.
Yep.
Alright.
Number 4, Bowser Jr. versus Zero Suit Samus.
It's Zero Suit Samus.
Wrong.
Are you serious?
I am very serious.
It must just, all the Zero Suit Samus just gets on their Samus. I'm sure
just to make it clear,
half of the searches for Samus was probably Zero Suit Samus.
What I did, I literally just typed in the name as they had on the Smash thing.
I feel like a lot of this is just from DeviantArt search things. Just the fact that it was Zero Suit Samus.
Oh yeah, all the Zero Suit Samus stuff was included in Samus's.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, I've never been more sure of anything in my entire life that there are more Zero Suit Samus drawings than there are. I even forgot what the other character was.
Jr.
Bowser Jr. I promise you, it's just the fact that you searched.
You may be right.
It's just the search. No, I'm not May. It is true. That is absolutely true.
You want to look? Go for it.
So I count myself right there, but you can do whatever you want in your official.
My rules. Bowser Jr. 13,153. Zero Suit Samus 12,150. Literally just 1,000 more.
There's not a chance in hell. There's only that many.
Number 5, Roy versus Little Mac.
Roy is our boy. This is a good one actually. This is a good matchup. This is the first good matchup you've had. I think Fire Emblem fans like to draw a lot of things, but I mostly think of that since it got really anime, and it wasn't back then. Or, waifu bait at least. This is a rough one. I'm going Roy, though.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, this is when you gotta remember the rule. I literally just type in their name.
So there's a
there are a lot of Roys.
Name,
First thing that came up was Roy from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Roy, 180,191. Little Mac, 28,337.
Yeah. Come in, Sadie. You continue, Joe. Our podcast numbers are about to go really far up because there's a dog in the room.
It's 2 more Derby and you wins. I'm pretty sure you're going to win this one. Okay, next one. Shulk versus Kirby.
Kirby.
Maybe do more to make it more interesting, but I just got to go with my rules.
Yeah.
I got to keep it honest. Number 7, Peach versus
Peach.
Mario.
No.
Nope, you said Peach. Wrong.
Sure, whatever.
Wrong. I was hoping you'd do that.
Sure. I'll take it.
I didn't say Shulk's numbers and Kirby's. Shulk, 6,932. Kirby, 336,956. Not even close. For Peach and Mario, Peach, 381,825.
That's low.
381,000? Yeah, that's a good bit.
That would be over 1 million. Yeah. It's Peach.
Mario, 769,818.
It's also low.
Not furry enough.
Oh, yeah, it's
not sexy enough.
That's true.
Actually, never mind.
Mario.
Some of the Peach stuff is the most suggestive things I've seen on there.
Mario is a handsome young man.
You're right. Next one. Diddy Kong versus Squirtle.
Squirtle.
Correct. Hey, you win.
I did it, you guys.
We got 2 more. Luigi versus Wolf.
Luigi.
Wrong.
Luigi. Really?
Not even close.
Because it's just a bunch of wolves.
Yep.
This game is flawed, Jeff. This game.
I tell you the rules.
This game is so flawed. Anyway.
I forgot to bring up the next one. Diddy Kong, 10,426. Squirtle, 57,802. Luigi, 215,499.
All right.
Wolf, 5,179,000.
Just finish the dang game.
Daisy and Ryu.
Daisy.
Yes.
Again, because Daisy.
No, I don't think it's in this case. Darby,
Okay.
Darby, there was a lot of Peach fan art. It was a dark time. It was the worst I've
I can
seen.
imagine. Samus is probably pretty bad too.
Samus was better for at least in the first few searches.
At least she has armor a lot of the times.
Yeah. I'm talking about Zero Suit Samus. It wasn't that bad comparatively. This I saw. Daisy, 409,280. Ryu, 216,328. Congratulations, Darby. You won.
I did it! Alright, time shift to Jacob. Oh, should I do it again?
Yeah.
Boom. And we're back.
Yeah.
And we are joined this time by Mr. Jacob Hamil.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing pretty well. I'm ready to enjoy the lake and all the rain that's probably going to come as well. Because we cannot escape that recently.
Summer in South Carolina.
Never.
Yeah.
You can pretty much put it on the clock every single afternoon. Yep. I think it's been a while since you've been on the podcast. I guess
it's been a minute.
Whenever that video game music thing, I think was the last thing we did.
Yeah, I think it was in the spring.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
You're still living in your old place?
I know. It's crazy.
Memories.
It's memories. Very, very fond memories. But Jacob, I'm very excited to have you on here because you were talking about Yakuza.
Yes.
Which, if people do not know, on our nerdsatllarge.wordpress.com, we have a blog thing there. And Jacob wrote an entire, very long, awesome article about getting into the Yakuza series for people like me and Jeff, for instance, who are very interested in it, but have no... It just seems like there's games coming out constantly, and if you're not paying attention, it can kind of just seem like, boy.
It's a lot. It's like, do it. No, this. Oh, no, there's more games coming out. Like,
there's 0 to... What does Kiwami mean?
Yeah.
What is,
Kiwami means extreme.
Does it actually? I actually didn't know what it... Yeah.
Okay, so in Yakuza Kiwami, 30 minutes into it, you get the little pop-up message. It's like, Kiwami means extreme.
Wow.
It says, in capital letters.
That's so awesome. Air horns are playing all this, So I basically just wanted to talk to Jacob about that article and where do you join in to Yakuza now? What Yakuza is about? Why would people want to get into it? Because I think me and Jeff are both this is a series that we want to play at some point. We're very interested, but it is very intimidating.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it's kind of changing now, but for a long time, a lot of Western kind of video game websites, when they talk about Yakuza, they'd be like, oh, it's Japanese GTA, which it is absolutely not. It's a terrible example. It's more like a beat 'em up, kind of like Streets of Rage, whatever, but kind of 3D with a small open world, kind of like a JRPG with punching people instead of a party and doing spells and whatnot.
Yeah. But it's not as much of GTA as just the open thing where there's all these different... I mean, does Yakuza have a bunch of side missions you're going to, or is it more of a linear story that you're going...
It's a pretty linear story, and then you can do all these sorts of side stories in the world. It's not a giant open world where you're robbing things and getting chased by the police and shooting people.
Right.
You're running around. You never drive a car. You're always running around. So the world's small enough to where you can walk to everything.
Right.
And talk to people and help people and maybe punch a few hoodlums here and there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because it is doing kind of at least semi-accurate representation of Japan in the 80s, or isn't every game kind of in a different time period, or at least a lot of them?
Yeah. Yakuza 0 is the one set in the 80s. It's the prequel one, and then everything else is kind of set in the 2000s, around the time that they came out.
Okay, yeah. See, yeah. So, I guess if someone what is it about Yakuza that you think really roped you in and a lot of other people? Because I see a lot of people they talk about how they were confused by Yakuza and they got into this is really weird, but after they spend enough time they just fall in love with seeing the main character. I always forget his name.
Kiryu.
Yeah, Kiryu. Just see his story go through 6 games, which is crazy. I mean, I know it's not all.
Well, the thing that really roped me in was just the world. It's very fleshed out. It's not a game that's made for it's made for a Japanese audience. And so you're kind of getting that very kind of, virtual tourism kind of experience where there's all these locations and things that are, you don't really understand it, but you're you feel like you're kind of visiting these real places, and these places are fictionalized, but they are based on real world areas in Tokyo or other places, Kyoto, etc. And another thing would be the really lovable characters and the wacky side stories. Those kind of play into each other. Where these games have some of the funnest and most hilarious and engaging side stories. Some of them are actually really serious and kind of emotional, but some of them are have you, I don't know, teaching this girl how to be an assertive dominatrix. It's pretty funny.
I'm in.
Yeah, boom. Yeah.
Or have you infiltrating this wacky cult Yeah, so
Yeah, that's what I always hear,
pretty
like,
weird.
mostly about the wacky things. Do you think it juggles the serious and wacky, like, well?
Absolutely. Like, the way I can describe it, it's very, like, K-drama or, like, Japanese soap opera, where it's,
Okay.
very serious one moment, but kind of silly and lighthearted, and it works, I think, really well.
Right.
I know a lot of things try and do that, but, like, it comes off as kind of two-faced, but I think this works pretty well.
Sounding like Intama to me, the anime/manga.
I don't know what that is, but I'll take your
Yeah.
word for it.
If that feels like, I mean, from my kind of limited experience, mostly through playing like JRPGs and stuff, I feel like Japanese games, like almost versus like any other game or like entertainment, they really do try to nail the goofy while serious tone a lot. Like even stuff like Death Note, even that's like very serious, but then it has Ryuk. Whereas like Ryuk is just this like weird, goofy, like almost comic relief thing. There's the potato chip line. Like there's, I feel like a lot of Japanese like titles try to like balance that a lot.
Yeah,
for
in
the
generally, like the
Japanese-centric
main
thing.
story in these games, though, that's where like most of the seriousness is. And it gets a little like outlandish and wacky too in the main story, but most of the really oddball out there stuff is all the side stuff that you can explore and find.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I have to ask. So, what do you think is your favorite like wacky side, or what's your favorite like story, like quest or something in Yakuza?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be your favorite. Just
Yeah.
what is one that like stands out that people would be.
Yeah. Now I've only played 2, so I'm sure there's probably better ones in other games, but trying to think. Okay. So there's like a telephone mini game in Zero, like a telephone club, which is pretty much like 80s Tinder.
Oh,
If you
nice.
can like imagine that. But there's one where it's like a ransom. Like this guy calls Kiryu, and Kiryu thinks it's like a sex hotline. But the guy's actually like ransoming for he kidnapped someone. He's like, pay me this much money. And like, but Kiryu totally like misunderstands the situation, and it's pretty funny. There's another one where he meets this foreign lady who obviously came to Japan as like a sex worker. And she's like, look, my pimp pretty much like took my passport, and like I want to get a visa so I can get like a legitimate job and not have to do this. But because she's foreign, she has an accent. They kind of localized it visa as pizza. And so Kiryu's like, oh, I'll get you a pizza.
Oh my god.
And so he gets a pizza, and there's like an 80s kind of like montage music as like you run with the pizza, because like, remember, pizza's only good if it's hot, so you got to get the pizza to her before it gets cold.
That's hilarious.
And then you give her the pizza, and like the pimp comes out, and he's like, oh no, like I love you, I'll marry you, you can stay here and not have to do this. And then it's like they all have like a good laugh at the end, and then the camera just pans over to like the pizza guy, and he like does a little fist pump. And it's like, what?
So like the whole thing gets resolved, and it has nothing to do with you. Like you did you did nothing to help
did
resolve the
nothing.
decision. All you did was go get a pizza.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Like that almost makes it sound like there's kind of like the stories can almost serve as like smaller vignettes of like that. Almost sounds like an episode of like a cartoon or something. Maybe a little more serious than the cartoon because it's pimps and sex workers. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, in these games, they don't really shy away from like, because most of the games take place in a place called Kamurocho, which is a fictionalized version of like a red light district in Tokyo.
Right.
So there's like gangsters and sex workers and brothels and loan sharks, all that sort
All
of
the fun
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
So are you actually playing as like a member of the Yakuza?
No, you're not.
You're not. Okay. So.
That's the big thing. That's another big difference from GTA is that you're
Right.
not. Kiryu was a member, but he gets sent to jail for like 10 years for a crime they didn't commit from like 1995 to 2005 when he gets out.
So does that whole him going to jail thing, is that what happened in Zero?
That
Where it leads up to it?
That happens in the beginning of 1.
Okay.
0, he gets kicked out for like another reason, and he becomes like a real estate kind of worker. It's interesting. But most of the games he is not a member of the Yakuza, and he's trying to kind of like have a legitimate life, but of course he still gets caught up in all the Yakuza drama.
Yeah. So it's kind of the Yakuza is just part of the plot, but you're not actually in the
Yeah, and most of the time like they're the villains. You fight them on the street along with like normal petty criminals. So.
Yeah. So if someone is like interested in Yakuza, do you think like do they need to? So chronologically, does it goes 0, then 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
6 or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And so what are all the ones they've remade at this point?
Okay, so 1 and 2, which originally came out on the PlayStation 2, those have been remade into Yakuza Kiwami, which is on the PS4, and then about to come out is Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is a remake of 2.
Right,
Did that come out at the end of this month?
Yeah, the 28th.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Yakuza 6 just came out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that people might not realize that these games are kind of budget games.
Yeah.
They reuse a lot of stuff. And so that allows them to be like a yearly franchise in Japan. And for a while, there was like a lull between their release in Japan and their release in North America.
Yeah.
That's getting shorter, and so we're getting more Yakuza games
Yeah.
than what it actually
understand that.
seems like.
Yeah, right. So 1 and 2, or 1 and about to be 2, have been remade and everything, but 0 is actually a pretty recent game.
Yeah, that
Right.
came out early last year in 2017. Came out in Japan, I think, back in 2015.
Okay.
And it's a PS3, PS4 game, but I think you only get it on PS4. In North
Okay, I didn't
America.
even know it was PS3. I thought it was only PS4. Do you think that is the best starting place?
Absolutely. I know it's kind of confusing because people are like, oh, Yakuza Kiwami is a remake of Yakuza 1. Yakuza 1's the first game, so I would start there. And you can, that's perfectly fine. But just in a world where you can buy Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami for the same price, I think Yakuza 0 is a better starting point. Right. It's a bigger game. You have 2 characters to play as. And also, it's a problem with Yakuza Kiwami is that because it is a remake of 1, and Yakuza is a series that has kind of, embraced its own identity as it's more installments. So, as I was mentioning before, all the wacky side quests in Yakuza 0, it's like, yeah, help out this lady become a good dominatrix. Whereas in Yakuza Kiwami, a lot of the side stuff is like, oh, stop this pickpocket. And that's it.
Yeah.
Not really as engaging. I like the main story, but a lot of the side stuff isn't as out there or entertaining as it is in some of the later
Yeah, are the
games.
Kiwamis, like, how much of a... Is it like how much of a remake is it, or is it more of a like we kept a lot of the quests and everything the same, we just made it look better? Is it more of the latter?
It's more the latter. And even some of the bosses in Yakuza Kiwami are like modeled on PS2 boss fights, and they can be pretty frustrating.
Yeah. So I imagine it's one of those things that if someone jumped into Kiwami and they're not really feeling it, it's like maybe give 0 a shot before you just completely like tank everything, because 0 is a lot more of a modern game, obviously.
It was just way more content, more bang for your buck. Another good place would be Yakuza 4, because I know like a while ago that was free on PSN. It's on PlayStation 3, so if you happen to own that, that might be a good place to start. Without
I have that.
putting,
Yeah, which ones do you have?
I have Kiwami, but he just said Yakuza 4 was free at some point. It's like, did I end up getting that at some point?
Yeah, and that's a good place to start. I haven't played it, but people say it's a pretty good place to start because it's the first game that has multiple characters. You have 4 characters, and you actually don't even start as Kiryu, you start as a different character.
Okay.
So I think jumping in there, Kiryu would just be like another character with this backstory.
Yeah. Have you played 6 yet?
I wanted to play the demo, and I started to play the demo, and it was like all this stuff from Yakuza 5, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. It was actually reusing cutscenes from PS3 Yakuza 5
Wow.
in Yakuza 6. Again, these are cheap games.
Yeah.
They don't sell a lot, but they still make money.
Enough to where they just keep putting them out over here in the West recently, so I have to imagine they're selling at least... I feel like I've heard more about Yakuza in the last 2 years than I've heard
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like in any time before, and a lot of people like...
Well,
really
probably helps
focus on them.
free builds and easy outs.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That is
Yeah, it's
great.
definitely, it's coming into more awareness in the West. That's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
for the series.
So overall, just if someone wanted the full list, like what is the order that they should go in? It's like 0, and then you think just straight on through.
Yeah, so I would say 0, and then Kiwami 2, which is about to come out, and then you can go 3, 4, 5 on to 6.
6, right? Okay.
It's going to be a weird jump in. Like generations and quality.
Yeah, well, 3, 4, and 5 are actually getting remastered, not remade.
Okay.
And the
Makes
3 remaster is about to come out, I think like next week in Japan.
Oh, yeah, I think I do remember hearing about that.
4 is supposed to come out somewhere later in the fall, and then 5 remake is supposed to come out in the spring of next year.
You know, there's some people out there who's probably like, when this is all said and done, will have bought like all 6 games twice, basically, with the originals and the remasters, like the sheer amount of money.
At least I don't have to buy 6 and 0 twice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I mean,
until 20 years from now when it's outdated, they remaster.
They remake everyone.
Yeah.
This is the remaster of 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, by now I would have played more, but I was like, well, I don't want to jump around, so I'm just going to wait for Kiwami 2.
Then after that, you can just kind of, if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine they're also doing these remasters because Yakuza 7 or Shin Yakuza is coming out, and that has a brand new like protagonist, and I'm sure they want to take the time and make that a really good game, a really good introduction to that character.
Well, Dari, for us, we really get into this series. We got 3 games we could play before we had to worry about the 3, 4, 5 remaster.
Yeah,
I wait for those.
Yeah,
at least like kind of the roadmap. It's one of those series like, you don't have to. The new game's coming out, but it's like, okay, I'll get to that eventually. I have a bunch of other games to catch up on first.
Yeah, and the really good thing about the 3 remaster is actually when 3 came out, it came out at a time when the series was not doing very well in the West, and they're like, well, why would we spend all this time and money localizing everything? We're just going to cut out a bunch of like the really wacky Japanese stuff, and so the West got a very shrunk version of Yakuza 3. So this remaster is going to have everything in it.
Okay, and maybe they could promote this like, hey, a bunch of stuff you didn't get.
Yeah, pretty much. Like one of the hallmarks of the series is the kind of cabaret club, hostess club.
Yeah.
Mini game that was out from 3. They just cut that out completely.
Yeah, and well, I guess they still gotta localize that stuff, but those games shouldn't take as long since I guess they have already an English base for it.
Is that game the one with the weird bug women?
I think that's in Kiwami 1. Okay. It might be from another game. I don't know, because they reuse a bunch of stuff all the time.
Yeah. I just remember hearing and seeing about the weird bug ladies.
Yeah. Well, like in 0, it's straight up just like women's wrestling. It's like underground women's wrestling. And then like in Kiwami, it was like a video game. It's like that underground wrestling ring got shut down in the 10 years or whatever between those games.
Are a lot of these, do all these take place, I mean, like, do they take place in, like, different cities, or just, like, some of them in one city and then some in the other?
Yeah, so, I mean, they had different locations.
'Cause I've heard some people were talking about Yakuza, and they were saying, like, in one game, this one building was, you could go in and do everything, and then another game was set in the same city, and that building you couldn't go in, but the one next to it that was previously not able to go in, you could go in that. So it's like you're exploring different parts of the city in different games. But.
Yeah, so the main, like, place is Kamurocho, and that's, I think, in just about all the games. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. And then other games have different locations, like Yakuza 0, you can go to Kamurocho, and then you have Osaka. 5 has like 5 different locations. I think 6 swings back and forth between Kamurocho and Hiroshima. 3 takes place in Okinawa, so it's all over the place.
That's cool. I would like to play them almost just to learn, also just see more of Japan, like learn more about Japanese history and stuff like that. It's very interesting. The Yakuza in general is just very interesting. Yeah, you definitely learn like a lot. Like it's really interesting because people think of the Yakuza as kind of like the Italian mafia, and it's kind of true, but also kind of not. Like they have like their office and like a plaque on the outside that you can go into. Well, you probably wouldn't want to go into it actually, but just walk right in.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like the Japanese government and like businesses have a very weird and interesting relationship with the Yakuza, like the real world Yakuza.
Yeah.
To where.
And I mean, aren't they like they're not like I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the Yakuza not quite as, like, violent as you would expect from, like, an Italian mob that you've heard about in, history? It's kind of a different type of deal.
Yeah, it's more, like, protection money, and, like, I mean, it's changed over the years because of, like, laws that were introduced in the 90s. And that's actually a big thing in these games. It's kind of like the old, kind of honorable spirit of the Yakuza, where it's like we only go after, like, these certain industries and these certain types of people. Whereas modern ones, because of like the laws, they'd have to turn to like drug peddling and more overtly, I guess, criminal activities. Yeah. And it's like, oh, the Yakuza isn't how it used to be. That's kind of like a theme in these games, where Kiryu is very much like that old type of like mantra. Like
it's cool, the idea of like mafia mob type entity in a culture that's so driven by honor, to the point where it's even like effects. Then when you think of like the Italian mob boss just breaking in somewhere and like shooting everyone, it's just like it doesn't really seem like that's it's interesting that that's.
And plus, like, guns are super hard to get a hold of in Japan, so they're not gonna go shoot up people.
That's why you're fist fighting people in the streets.
You actually can buy guns and pull out guns, and like it's really silly because like you never kill anybody. But like you could like shoot someone with a shotgun like right in the stomach, and then,
they're
like,
fine. They're just
the battle will end. They'll be like on the ground, like ow.
Put a band-aid on.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you do moves where you like disembowel someone with like a sword, and then like the battle will end, and they'll just be like on the ground, like just chilling out.
That really hurt. Anyway, okay. All right. Well, cool. I mean, is there anything else that you think people should know about Yakuza?
Just check it out. It's a really cool series. You can really get it for pretty cheap, like Zero.
Yeah.
It's like $20 now. So.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was that cheap.
Didn't they just add? I know they added it at some point. Wasn't it just recently they added like Zero and May Kwame to Steam?
Yeah, those also just came out on the PC. So if you want to play it on that.
Cool.
It runs really well on the PS4 because again they're kind of using the old PS3 engine, just like up-resed.
Yeah.
So it runs at 60. And looks really nice.
Nice. Yeah. Probably should have looked into those during the Steam sale. Cause
I think they came out after the Steam sale.
Yeah, I mean like very recently. Like
yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, because I think that was announced at like E3 at the PC game show. Like, hey, Yakuza coming to Steam. Get hyped.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. That is hype. So wait, how many? They weren't on Steam before, like any of them? Oh, okay. Interesting.
Based on my knowledge, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure the mods on PC will be pretty fun.
Oh yeah, that could get pretty wacky. I hope they allow it. I don't know what their policy normally is with that. But
I mean, I think I've seen mods on like jailbroken PS4s. So.
That too. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and Jacob, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
I
no
hope
problem.
we can get you back on a full episode sometime soon. But hey, we got a series that me and Jeff were never going to be able to speak intelligently on. I'm glad we could get you to come in and talk about that. So check out all of our other stuff. Check out our Pokemon Nuzlocke videos going up. Me and Jeff just streamed A Way Out recently. That should be going up on YouTube. The game's pretty fun so far.
Cool.
Yeah, we hope to finish it soon because we're halfway through the game.
Yep. So if you want to watch us play that, you can see part 2 sometime upcoming, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be writing more articles. So
yeah, that's nerdsatlarge.wordpress.com. I want to start writing more too, but you'll probably see more Jacob than me, probably, and I hope so. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.